Good day, everyone. My name is Sihle Moon. We are located at JBS, the Johannesburg Business School. We are here to speak about our postgraduate diploma in public policy and African studies, which program was designed more than anything else in response to the capacity needs and skills needs within the state. So essentially, we are a center whose key business is to respond to the capacity needs within the state. Now, I am going to speak to one of our students who's going to introduce himself firstly.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
My name is Masango. I'm currently serving government as a deputy speaker in the legislature of Mpumalanga.
Yeah. So we want, in his voice and through his own experiences, to just assess and evaluate the impact and the utility of this program, more than anything else, to establish if we are hitting the spot, if we are hitting the right kind of spots. So in our planning of the program, we believe that we have structured it for a particular type of student, a student who's in the leadership position, who takes decisions on a daily basis on behalf of the country. Number one. Number two, because of the nature of our students, we believe that we have lecturers who have an intimate understanding, not only of the legislative environment and the state environment, but also of the type of students that we're teaching. So we've, in our minds, designed this particular program to suit those needs. So I'd like to hear from you, firstly, before we go into that, of all the programs in the world, why this one? Why did you go for this one?
Well, thank you, Doc. I think for me specifically, it was one of the things that when you look at the program in its entirety, it talks to knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And knowledge goes squarely to research.
Yeah.
Because for you to acquire knowledge, you must then give yourself a stud to what actually do you want to learn about and what is it all about. So in the basics of me coming in and look at my field of work, and my field of work is public. In any way of front, leadership is all about public, sure. Whether you are receiving or whether you are extending of these two, or policy issues, but it's public.
Now tell me, so you have been elected to your position, because truth be told, not all MPs and MPLs, after being elected, choose to improve capability and capacity. Because you are comfortable, you are in the position. So what drove you, despite the fact that you're already in a leadership position, you could have been comfortable for another 5 years? Why did you choose to come and improve your skills and capacity here? What drove you to come here?
Doc, look, it's easy to be elected. Anyone can be elected to anything. The question, are you capable to apprehend what you are needed, expected to do?
Sure.
And will you be able to interpret the Constitution? Just remember, a public servant, all of them, they serve the Constitution.
Sure.
In other words, in one way or front, whether you're in a municipality, a councillor, whether you are an administrator, you are serving a particular chapter in the Constitution to advance the society and to change their living condition. Now, when I look at everything, I realize that, look, this particular program, to me, I wish that all politicians in particular need to have it, irrespective of which party, because we have a state. We become different parties, firstly. Secondary, we come from different communities.
Sure.
But primary, it should be within a barrier that says every public servant need to have this particular course as an entry line, okay? Basically to mitigate what you are expected to do and what type of society, what type of role, so that you can comprehend the responsibility you are given rather than look, there are people who are elected for 5 years. Sure, I can tell you now. You can go back and ask them what you were doing. They can't be able to explain because their mindsets are also equally the same as the way he entered into the first day when he joined the position whatsoever.
Sure. Now, let's speak about the program itself, because I've indicated earlier that there are 3 critical modules. Well, for me, 2. The research one, where we try to give our students who are MPs and NPLs and councillors the tools, firstly, to read complex policies. Secondly, to be able to conduct basic research. In other words, to critically engage with documents. Are we winning there? In other words, are we making the right kind of impact? Is there a difference between when you started the program and now? Are you able to interact easier with the policy documents that you confront at work?
Yeah, look, Doc, I must appreciate this program, I must say. Just look, from the beginning when I started here, it then gives you an appetite to read. Because remember, reading also, it calls for commitment.
Yeah.
And in today's time, when you look at leaders, they no longer have an appetite of reading. They want to read only one small part. That's why society look at councillors as agreed and agreed. Because some councillors and some members of MPL, they don't look at the importance of their own integrity to say, look, this thing talks to me and I have to do a due diligence to this work.
Sure.
And without those particular capabilities, you will not be able to comprehend the documents in front of you, and then you prepare. Remember, you get a research, it entices you to read. After reading, you start to then accept any document that comes to you in line with your work.
With the more critical mind.
Then you start to have the more basic open-minded. You then take up a number of follow-up questions. That is why when you look at some of other sittings, you ask yourself, but why superior logic is not rising?
Okay.
And it's a question to say there's a gap of appetite of reading.
Sure.
If there was an appetite of reading, this particular debate would have not been taken on emotion.
Sure.
But in fact, would have been taken on genuine superior logic, on fact and substance.
Sure.
Then we solve the problem. So this program help you to look at things differently. And I can tell you now, since I've been joining it, I've read a number of books. I've looked at the way yesterday I was seeing things, the way now I look at the other things, and it gives you an acceptance of balance in the perspective. Sure, what people see things, and then again, you are becoming a factual-based person.
Sure,
you're no longer enticed by rhetoric. You are enticed by facts. You say, look, provide facts, convince me constitutionally what does it says, where you locate this thing.
Yeah,
cite this issue, where you collect this data. That kind of a thing.
Now, sure. Thanks for that. Now, the other module is industrial policy. Now, we pride ourselves there in exposing students to the geopolitical environment, which is currently quite complex and changing very fast, And our argument in our classes has always been the significance of how the global always informs and shapes the local. Those discussions, have they sort of been helpful in you understanding our own local policy making and how they are impacted or shaped by what is going on at a global level now? The Trump situation, the Palestinian situation, Ukraine, the trade war, and so on.
Doug, it's a very interesting subject that you have just introduced now. Let's talk about society. Because remember, at all developed countries, their primary point of stronghold is industrial. Sure. Now, you go to China, you get where they come from. You read the history. You go to America, you go to Arab, look at where they are. Yesterday they were saying that today they are the destination of hope that everyone wants to go to, and it's industrial. Now, then let's talk about South Africa. Now, when you look at our country, if you had industrial as a subject into school. And I'm so pertinent about driving it back there to say maybe we it's up here, finding those selected few who are lucky to be accessing it. Sure. But this primary, if it can be reached from a theory point of view on the basic, that this one's a compliance, you must pass it, you must do it. Come, I tell you, you will have number of new generation that are so innovative to then look at the industrial and start to look at how best can we mitigate gap instead of complaining. Sure. Because if we don't challenge the society, challenge leadership towards, you dream, you inspire to have a development to create jobs. You can't create jobs without industrial. Sure. So industrial in the main, it's a core point. When you go and look at China, China was an agricultural, during Sun Tzu. Now, when you look at where it transit, it then grown itself to become an production. Everyone want every product to China. From China. China is the most true example that we can move, we can descend from where we are as a country, change our mindset, focus on industrial, the space that we're having, instead of doing other things on it, build industrials that will create jobs, and therefore it will attract and it will change the picture. This policy.
So are we giving you the tools you require to extract lessons from China and elsewhere in the world?
Yeah, it's broader than that. It's broader than that. Look, from where I was making an example in my PCO. I'm saying, look, good people, we have children that go to school with shoes.
Sure.
And how to build a shoe? How to manufacture a shoe? Okay, you have industrial areas in Mpumalanga. That industrial areas, it's dominant, it's dead now, and it need young people. And look, state on its own, it need an active society to see an opportunity for just shoes only. You then take shoes, shoes that's made of a scheme. You do a research on that, you do a program around that, you start to produce shoes, you supply to the schools, shoes only. And then you then created a very sustainable job, because every year, every day, someone is wearing a shoe. Sure. Now, just a simple thing. And when you look at all those things, you then say, who must come and do these things? Is it the state or is it people? To me, it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
If we have a mindset that says these are proposals that we can do, the state is there to really look at in terms of all the strengths that are there. Instead of complaining, we change the mindset of society and we start to prepare ourselves to say the next generation, if we are not late, the next generation should focus on industrial policy and be able to say, in any country that have developed, that has been successful in today's time, it's a focus to industrials.
No, I'm happy that we are inspiring you to really get excited about building local industries, and driving local economic development. Now, can we just quickly talk about the quality of the lecturers and the extent to which they are able to respond to your unique needs? I mean, you are a busy man, you are a deputy speaker, you chair all sorts of... So are we able to live up to what you need from us as lecturers in the program? Are you happy with how we deliver the programs?
If I would have asked this question before when I joined, I would give you a different answer, without learning how people think. Remember, there are also people who are not... lectures who are not calmistic, they are more based on reading and telling. Yeah. And there are those who are also going extra mile, explaining. There are those, their teachings are different. Their tutorials are different, are actually inclusive. So people differ based on their own uprising, based on how they deal with things. So it will be unfair for me to say whether this one is good or bad. To someone, he might be adding it. To me, I need a participative learning culture thing, so that you then learn practicals as well, to say these are the issues, this is where we are. For an example, the issue of Russia and Ukraine, it's part between COVID-19. In fact, it has stopped COVID-19, that fight, if you follow it properly. And those are diplomacy issues. Sure. And without a knowledge of this, those are the diplomacy issues. Yes. They intervened, they got in a gap, they disrupted COVID-19 in the whole country, in the whole world. And everyone think that COVID-19 has finished. No, we don't know how the ending of COVID-19, to be exact. Yeah. That gap assisted. But coming back to your question, look, the institution have attracted people who love their land as well. And I can tell you they put their effort. And at the same time, remember, institutions, their aim is not to fail people.
Yeah.
Their aim is to capacitate. And when we're given an assignment, it's not to punish.
Yeah.
In fact, it's to say, let's capacitate you with what you have learned.
Yeah.
Let's test what you have learned. And that learning does not mean we punish you.
Yeah.
In fact, we are saying we're assessing your capability so that we can introduce different framework, different model to meet your needs. To me, it's so interesting. And I love the quiz,
Sure.
Yeah, the quiz, it keep you focused on your work, It keep you also included. So there's a miss of that. And I think we need to, maybe all this, they need to also have those quiz. It should not be you miss a lecture because you used to give you quiz. No, even if it's 10 or 5.
Yeah.
It also entices you to say, there's aptitude test rather than coming in. It's like coming to church and listen to and go home.
No, we don't do that.
Example.
Now tell me, does it have, because most of our lecturers are people who've worked in the state themselves, who are familiar with the public sector. And we always insist on case studies that are relevant, that are relatable in the places you guys work in. Does that help? Does that help?
It's totally extremely helping because remember, it's good to be taught by someone who understands the environment that you're coming from. For instance,
because it's not just an academic understanding.
Exactly. Yeah, when we sort of we basically the ground is fertile for both.
Sure.
You know the committees. You understand what the process of cost is. You understand municipalities. When you talk about where the budget starts,
Sure.
in the IDP where public participate, then it goes to IDP, then it goes to SDB, then it starts now to become prioritized by the council, and equally the APPs. So those kind of understanding, it assists because you then both of you meet each other in the gap line of work to say, what is the gap of why most leaders in different portfolios, they don't read, they don't give themselves time.
Sure.
And remember, when you're in portfolio, you have enough time more than MECs.
Yeah.
Because in portfolios, you actually been given thematic areas that you need to focus on. You go into an oversight. Before you go into an oversight, you look at the research report. Because every oversight are assembled based on the report first.
Sure.
What does the research say around a particular project? Now, let's look at the ability there of education. That's where education comes in.
Yeah.
When you receive that information from a researcher in an institution, given to you as a person who must do an oversight, you have this info. You have not read the research. You want to go and do an eye contact to the project. You don't have facts of what actually arrived the project to. You are not going to do an effective oversight.
Sure.
So that's where education and the part that says every work that you do, you must put your integrity also. Is this at the best interest of me?
Yeah.
Is this at the best interest of public? Is this based on at the best interest of my integrity? Because what we do, the work, it also reflects us. If you just go to the institution and read the program and look at the program project, people have been asking it for 7 years. And you are still looking at it again, the 7 administration. Then at some point to say, it stopped with me.
Yeah.
It's an attitude issue. So say, this I want it to be done. This is what I wanted to resolve. Yes, the people cannot ask us again about this pothole, again about this service delivery, water crisis. We must solve the problem. We can't complain. So definitely, Doc, really, I get assisted for being here.
Sure. All right. Now, state making and statecraft in general has no end game. There's no end point to it. So we constantly keep on improving our material and our offerings and our approaches and the structure of our program, because we understand that we work in a very dynamic environment. So I would probably say that we would invite any and all members of parliament, members of provincial legislatures, and councillors who are keen to improve their skills, who are keen to improve their capability to navigate what has become a far more complex environment, the environment of the state. So the programs at UJ are open. We would welcome all students to to avail themselves of these programs. I don't know what you would like to say to your colleagues who are in the legislatures, the National Assembly, and councils around the country.
I can tell you with my eyes closed, if all my fellow colleagues in different
Political parties,
if they will want to see how the effectiveness of education, they should visit, and they should take one course at a time. If person feel like is old, we want to take one course at a time, take one semester at a time. You will be a better person. You will really value. You will really love to go to work.
Yeah.
You will really enjoy what you're doing because now you have a foundation that is stable, that talks to your work, and then you will also look at the point that says, I wanna go further. Because if I have received this knowledge while I was 20, I would have that now. Would have been extremely better.
Yeah.
So it's what I would like and wish to make a call today. That let the next semester, let the next intake, let them come, because I should not be the person that says I've received this particular eye-opening wisdom, and it should be only me. And again, it talks about Africa. Probably it also lighten us up about the international trade.
Yep.
How does this thing affect us? We're living in a society where it's easily to get panic. Information goes in, America is against us, we're going to be there's going to be war. So if leaders cannot calm the society down with a clear facts and shortens, you are living in a very a panic mode driven society. And it's dangerous. Remember, mountain mind is panicking. It rejects everything. It's scared. So if all of us can register, if all of us can give time to these important courses, I can tell you now, you will be able to say, no. These are diplomatic activities. It need a diplomatic solution. And this solution, they don't need us to be panic. We need to study like what Trump is doing. It's actually opening us an opportunity to look at other different drugs. Some of them, we need to take them to our inventory, do it in-house, and produce them and sell it to someone who needs it. So in the main, don't see a problem as a problem, but see a problem as a testing ground, so that you then change it to then come to talks to what can you do better than that. So I can tell you now, Doc, if they can make time, I can tell you they will thank me later.
But I like the fact that even at the end, after your term is ended, no one can take away your qualification.
Most definitely. Nothing at all. Most definitely. Look, these are knowledge that you actually in every society.
When you take back the deputy speakership, but they can't take away.
They can't take back now. I could go to any institution and actually look. You can even also take up the route of being a lecturer.
No, of course.
Because the more knowledge you have, the more you learn. You can also extend.
The more curious you get to do more.
Okay. And a reading society, Doc.
A
reading society. I can tell you now, my brother, is a prospering society. It's a society that does not read. It's less informed, and it's easy to take, easy exit.
So to start with the leadership at the top.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.